You are born in northern India, far from the glittering palaces of Lucknow. Your family has little money and even fewer choices for your future. As a young girl, you are taken into the world of a Tawaif. You enter a kota, a private salon where music, poetry, dance, and conversation fill the rooms. You quickly discover that becoming a Tawaif means learning far more than how to dance. Your teachers expect perfect posture from the moment you wake up. You spend hours learning delicate hand movements and controlled expressions. Your feet ache after repeating the same dance sequence again and again. Your voice must remain steady even when your body is exhausted. You learn classical singing from musicians who have spent their entire lives mastering their craft. You memorize poetry written in languages used by the educated elite. You learn Persian phrases because refined speech can open doors. You learn Urdu because every word must sound elegant. You also learn something equally important. You must know how to behave when powerful men enter the room. You are being trained to become the perfect companion for an elite gathering. Your education continues long after ordinary girls your age stop attending lessons. You learn how to pour tea without making a sound. You learn how to greet a nobleman without appearing desperate for his attention. You learn how to hold a conversation without dominating it. You learn when to laugh and when silence is more impressive. You learn how to recognize expensive fabrics by touch. You learn how to identify jewelry that costs more than your family's home. You learn that appearance is part of your profession. Every evening, your hair is arranged with extraordinary care. Your hands are decorated with delicate henna patterns. Your finest clothing is brought out only for important gatherings. Your jewelry catches the light whenever you move. Your room slowly fills with gifts from wealthy patrons. But none of this luxury comes for free. Every beautiful object reminds you that your skills are your livelihood. You are not simply selling a dance. You are selling an entire evening of refinement. You are expected to make powerful people feel important. Your first major performance arrives sooner than you expect. A wealthy patron has arranged a private mehfil for his friends. You spend the entire afternoon preparing for the evening. Your musicians tune their instruments in the room beside you. Servants light lamps across the salon. The scent of rosewater fills the air. Guests begin arriving after sunset. Their clothing immediately tells you who has money and who wants to appear wealthy. You sit quietly while the musicians prepare to begin. Then your name is announced. You enter the room with measured steps. Every pair of eyes turns toward you. You bow gracefully before taking your position. The musicians begin playing. Your feet move precisely with the rhythm. Your hands follow the movements you practiced thousands of times. You notice a nobleman watching you carefully from across the room. You keep your expression calm. You know that confidence is part of the performance. The music becomes faster. Your ankle bells fill the room with rhythm. The guests begin smiling and whispering among themselves. One man tosses a small gift toward you after the performance. You acknowledge him with a graceful nod. Another asks you to recite a poem. You accept the challenge without hesitation. You recite the verses with perfect pronunciation. The room becomes unusually quiet. For a moment, everyone is listening only to your voice. When you finish, the guests applaud. Your teacher watches from the corner of the room. She gives you the smallest approving smile. You realize you have finally entered the world you spent years preparing for. But the night is not finished yet. The musicians begin another performance. Food arrives on silver trays. The guests drink, talk, laugh, and discuss politics. You move between them with practiced confidence. You listen more than you speak. You learn which noblemen are generous and which ones only pretend to be. You slowly understand that your reputation is your greatest possession. A famous Tawaif can command enormous attention in elite circles. A forgotten one can struggle to pay her musicians. You return to your room after midnight. Your feet are swollen from hours of dancing. Your jewelry is carefully placed back into its box. The music has stopped, but your mind is still racing. You think about the patron who offered you an expensive necklace. You wonder what he will expect in return. You also wonder how much control you truly have over your own future. You close the curtains and finally remove your makeup. Tomorrow, another gathering will begin, and this time, someone much more powerful is expected to attend. The next morning begins with another round of lessons. Your teacher tells you that success can disappear faster than it arrives. A younger performer has recently become popular among wealthy patrons. You realize that competition inside the kota never stops. Every dancer wants better musicians. Every singer wants more prestigious invitations. Every performer wants the richest patrons. You spend the afternoon preparing a new performance. Your teacher corrects your posture again. You repeat the same movement until your legs begin shaking. Then a messenger arrives with an important invitation. A powerful nobleman wants you to perform at his private gathering. Your teacher immediately changes your entire schedule. Your best clothing is brought out. Your most expensive jewelry is polished. Your musicians are instructed to prepare their finest repertoire. You realize this performance could change your position permanently. That evening, you arrive at an enormous mansion. Lanterns illuminate the courtyard as servants guide you inside. The room is filled with nobles, merchants, poets, and musicians. You recognize several important names immediately. You also notice that everyone is watching everyone else. This is not simply entertainment. It is a social battlefield. A single conversation can create a valuable connection. A single insult can destroy a reputation. You perform your first dance. The audience responds enthusiastically. Then a respected poet asks you to join his conversation. You answer his questions with confidence. Soon, several men are discussing poetry around you. You realize your education has become more valuable than your beauty. Your ability to speak intelligently keeps powerful people interested. The evening continues for hours. Music fills the room between conversations. You perform another piece when requested. You recite poetry between performances. You laugh at jokes that are actually funny. You politely ignore jokes that are not. Eventually, the most powerful patron in the room speaks directly to you. He offers you an expensive gift. You accept it gracefully. But you understand that gifts can create obligations. You have learned to negotiate without making the negotiation obvious. Your reputation gives you leverage. The more desirable your performances become, the more carefully patrons must treat you. Some successful Tawaifs accumulate wealth and property through patronage. Others maintain their own musicians and household staff. Some become patrons of artists themselves. You begin imagining a future where you control your own salon. You could choose which performers work for you. You could train younger girls in music and etiquette. You could become the person who once terrified you as a student. But history is beginning to change around you. British influence is spreading through northern India. The political world that supported traditional courts is becoming unstable. Your patrons are no longer as secure as their fathers were. Some royal households begin losing their power. Some wealthy men reduce their spending. Some performers are forced to travel elsewhere for better opportunities. You hear people using new words to describe women like you. The same performers once celebrated for refinement are increasingly portrayed as immoral. Your profession is slowly being viewed through a different moral lens.